You gonna get hit. Got hit. Before that, you know, he wasn't just trash. So he always showed power and speed before that. PD is going to enhance.
And they are very great at spinning the narratives and putting a certain narrative out there that is not true. If he posted that little video, tell him to post the full sparring. If he posted full sparring, I bet you the entire world would say, I beat the shit.
Yeah. He just capping for like social media. Like he not gonna be like realistic about the situation. The thing, like the behind the scenes shit, like I talk to these people behind the scenes too. It ain't like he's the only person who's having conversations behind the scene. I know the full numbers of
The boxing world is absolutely losing its mind right now. And honestly, it deserves to. We are sitting in the middle of what might be the most deliciously chaotic, ego-fueled, trash talk-soaked rivalry triangle the sport has seen in years. Nobody is throwing a single professional punch yet. Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and Keyshawn Davis have somehow managed to make the gym the most entertaining venue in boxing, and we haven't even gotten to the actual fight yet. Buckle up, because this story has everything.
Video of you two sparring, and you can hear you say, I guess after one round, like, yo, that's it, I'm tired, I'm done.
Did you watch the video though?
Yeah, I watched it, but I was like, yo.
Did you see the smile on my face?
Yes, I did.
Did you see the smile on my face?
But you know how the way they leaked it, they tried to give it as if you were like,
because once again, like I said, I'm not trying to spend 20 minutes talking about Devin or anything with him, but he has media and he has a lot of media people that he's really close with.
Leaked footage, dramatic denials, shadowy puppet masters, and 3 of the most gifted young fighters on the planet, absolutely at each other's throats. This isn't just boxing beef. This is a full 5-course meal. Let's start where everything started.
Just fight him.
Yeah, but why would I fight this for the least money that I could get when it's like, okay, cool, let's go through the WBC, because that's what I did that they trying to ignore. Right. They gonna ignore that whole part. I said, WBC, y'all do y'all job, enforce the fight, and we gonna do it that way. They gave him the deadline to figure out was he gonna fight me or fight Regis. That man decided to move up. Yeah. But I really made the WBC do their job. That's what it really came down to. And whatever percentage that they was gonna offer, that's what it was going to be at the end of the day.
So if they would have came back and said 75-25, would you
I would have had no choice. I just try to go around the bullshit that was presented, because that's bullshit. Like, I'm a 2-division world champ. I unified at 130 in one of the biggest fights at 100.
The tape, people. Devin Haney, in what can only be described as the most calculated, cold-blooded, and frankly genius piece of psychological warfare in recent boxing memory, dropped leaked sparring.
Give me what you want. If you corner off, you got to damn break. That's it, right there.
Footage showing Keyshawn Davis apparently getting the better of the pound-for-pound darling Shakur Stevenson. Not in a fight, not on a big stage, in the gym. The one place fighters consider sacred. The one place where egos are supposed to be protected behind closed doors and confidentiality agreements.
Fighting Shakur or Devin, or Keyshawn, Devin fighting either one of those guys, that's a turned up fight. Him, Tank, that's all that turned up. Feel me? Them is the fights right there. Them is the crest of the crest people want to see. Turned up fights.
Obviously, Bill Haney's get lots of praises for his matchmaking lately. You know, obviously with the Terrence Crawford and Canelo, you know, and obviously Devin Haney's career, right? But
I think he didn't have no matchmaking with that. I mean, he did put that bug in Crawford's ear, but that's it. How far are we gonna go with that? How far are we gonna go with that?
I mean, they asked him what made you feel like you could move up to fight, you know,
yeah.
Canelo, and
I said he put the bug in his ear. That's it.
And the unwritten brotherhood code of the sport. Haney blew all of that up and lit the match himself. The footage spread like wildfire across social media, boxing forums exploded, analysts lost their composure on YouTube live streams, and Shakur Stevenson.
He's talking about Devin. He wanted with Devin. Keyshawn asking for Devin. Devin ain't asking for Keyshawn. Keyshawn asking for Devin. They've been having a little rivalry for the last little couple of years now. And so, you know, he just, like he said, you know, he calling for him. Like I told him, I said, your fight really is with T.O. Your fight was really with T.O. That was the fight that was going to propel you, had you, you know what I'm saying, went through with the De Los Santos fight. That was your fight, you know, and that's just what happened, you know. But now, like I say, and Shakur's fight was with Devin. You know, they didn't make the fight because they couldn't come up with the split. See them both fight. Keyshawn is a guy that like to take on challenges. You know, he's very brave.
The slick defensive wizard from Newark who moves like smoke and hits like a sledgehammer suddenly found himself on the back foot before a single bell has rung. Haney didn't just leak a video, he detonated a bomb in the middle of boxing's most exciting generational rivalry and walked away smiling. The audacity, the absolute audacity. But of course.
Now he wants to go up and fight Devin Haney. It's a fight that Keyshawn always said that he wanted. Debo looked phenomenal. Keyshawn looked phenomenal, but at different weights. What's your thoughts on it if that were to occur next?
I got Haney. Haney been in there with better people. I think Haney got a better defense. I think Keyshawn is a good fighter. But I would lean towards Devin, his experience and some of the things he's been through. I lean towards Devin.
Is it a mistake just moving up right away to face Devin, not necessarily getting acclimated to the weight? Devin's a naturally bigger guy. Not by much.
Little bro bigger than.
Shakur Stevenson was not about to take that lying down. The man came out swinging harder on Instagram than he does in most of his fights. And that is saying something because Shakur is already one of the most technically devastating fighters on the planet. His response was immediate, passionate, and utterly theatrical. The video is fake, manipulated, a lie.
Because you see what they just was talking about it. Oh, you know, Shakur, what's up with that? Shakur, like, weight clause. You know what I'm saying? If I'm Dev, I ain't the weight clause. So you gotta fight me straight up. So Dev, little bro right here, he bigger than me. We all around the same size, but they probably are they probably more so the same size. Shakur might be a tad smaller than Devin, like not smaller than him, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. They be like 10 pounds apart in person.
And like walk around with you.
Yeah, they be like that in person. Like that's how Salim is. He's smaller than a lot of people, but he's like fight weight wise, yeah, but like they just be a little bit bigger. I think Dev is probably a little bit bigger than Shakur. At the same time, if I'm Dev, I'm not taking no weight cut or none of that. Shakur, you gotta fight me straight up.
A smear campaign engineered by a man too scared to actually lace up and fight him. Stevenson went on record claiming that not only did the tape misrepresent what happened, but that he actually dominated Keyshawn Davis in their sparring sessions. Dominated, his word. And listen. When Shakur Stevenson tells you he dominated someone in the gym.
A1 steak sauce. Reason being, as we know, Devin is not occupied. Devin is a free, like he's free to the runway is open. This fight can happen. Keyshawn got through his last challenge. Jermaine Ortiz did it in fashion, got to knock out nobody from Loma to T.O. None of them knocked out Jermaine Ortiz. Make this fight happen. Ryan is about to fight Barrios. If Devin did fight the winner of that, cool. If it is Ryan, a lot of people want the rematch. But I feel like Ryan, this is my personal opinion, Ryan is super iffy. Super iffy. So you don't know what to expect with him.
You have to at least consider it, because this is a man whose entire career has been built on making elite fighters look like they're fighting in slow motion. But here's the delicious problem. We cannot verify a single word of it. And Haney still has the footage sitting right there on the internet for the whole world to watch and rewatch and debate until the end of time. Shakur is fighting a battle against a video, and that is a fight that is very, very hard to win.
Ideally happen at any time. Give me this.
I want you to pick on me. Tell Debo come this way.
Tell Debo come this way. I want you to pick on me.
What you talking about?
What you talking about with it?
You know what Craig did to him.
I mean, it don't get more clear and more vocal than that. And for me, I'm going to be real. And some people, they might misconstrue this, but if you know, you know. I feel like a lot of these real good young black American boxers, I want to see them fight some other young black talent as well. Because when you have a black fighter in the red corner and a black fighter in the blue corner.
And then there's the money conversation, which somehow made everything even more dramatic. Shakur Stevenson, a man who has earned serious paydays and fought on the grandest stages, looked directly into the camera and essentially said he would take the lowest payday of his career to fight Devin Haney. Read that again. A top pound-for-pound contender, a former world champion, a man with genuine star power and marketability, told the world he would accept less money than he's ever made just for the privilege of punching Devin Haney in the face.
From pretty much 40 to 47. And he says he wants to fight Jermaine Ortiz and then move up to welterweight, which would be perfect because, like I told you, I really am the best in this business. Like, everything I say is like clockwork, right? It's amazing to me. Sometimes I amaze myself. So what am I talking about? I literally just said welterweight is dry. It's a stale, stagnant, horrible division right now. Not too many ways to mix and match the guys. And then the guys you could mix and match are pretty much busy. The Ryans, the Barrioses, and the Rollies, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. And I told you it's going to require, this is how it works in the sport of boxing. I know.
That is not a business decision. That is personal. That is primal. That is a man so motivated by proving a point that he's willing to sacrifice his bank account for the satisfaction of settling the score. If that doesn't tell you how deep this rivalry runs, nothing will. The negotiations are ongoing, the talks are reportedly happening, and somewhere in a boardroom or a phone call or a text thread, the seeds of what could be the biggest fight in the lightweight and super lightweight division are either being planted or being strangled by politics and money and ego before they ever bloom.
40 anymore, just like Jaron Ennis couldn't make 47 and he moved up to 154. Now 54 is cracking. They got 54 out here cracking. Tons of names where you can mix and match the Funduras, the Virgil Ortiz, Jermell Charlo, possibly Errol Spence, Murtazaev, Boots, right? You got tons of ways you can mix and match these people. 47 right now is dry, so it's going to take Shakur's and the Keyshawns and Gary Antoine Russells or the El Rayos, you know, different Edwin De Los Santos, Matias, different guys to move up to start to purge and like fill out the division. Right now, it's not many options. Again, Devin versus Louis Crockpot is a terrible fight, and I don't know anyone that wants to see it.
Which brings us inevitably to Bill Haney, the father, the manager, the architect, and according to many voices in the boxing community, the puppet master pulling strings behind one of the sport's most carefully curated careers. Bernie the boxer, never one to mince words, has been vocal about questioning Bill Haney's role in the matchmaking decisions that have shaped Devin's career trajectory.
And for him to do that means that the weight was probably an issue. Now, if Keyshawn comes up, or if they even do a catch weight, a 143, 144, it's going to be a very interesting fight because I think Devin has more tools and more IQ right now, but Keyshawn is different. So when you got a guy that's different, and that's why I also said that he's not just back, he's different. You understand me? So when you got a guy that has that intangibleness about him, where he can be a different guy when it's time to be a different guy, you can never count him out. However, if I was pushing Keyshawn, I would have another fight or two before I fight Devin, just for experience purposes. And if I was Devin, I would try to jump on it right now before he gets those couple fights, because the more experience he gets, the harder he's gonna become to beat.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough fight, you know, for Keyshawn Davis. And I think in many respects, Devin Haney too. You can't take Keyshawn Davis.
The criticism is pointed and specific. If Devin Haney is truly one of the best fighters of his generation, why does it sometimes feel like the path of maximum resistance is being quietly, strategically avoided? The argument being made, loudly and repeatedly by people who watch this sport obsessively, is that Devin needs to step into the fire with either Keyshawn Davis or Shakur Stevenson and get an undeniable, unmistakable, no excuses possible result. Not a technical win on the cards, not a split decision, a statement. Because right now, for all of Devin's brilliance and boxing IQ and defensive mastery, there are people in the sport who won't be fully convinced until they see him tested by the very best version of his direct rivals. Bill Haney's influence over matchmaking is either the smartest brand protection in the sport or the most elaborate.
Something that Devin can definitely go out up there with ease. Only need to deal with the size, but he's probably going to have the speed advantage because he's a smaller guy coming up. So, I mean, you tell me, do you feel like that's going to be harder than the Lomachenko fight?
No. I think Loma probably be his hardest top 2 or 3 fights in his whole career. I could predict that even going to the end, you know, to say if Devin fight 8, 9, 10 more years, that'd be one of his top 2 or 3 hardest fights because the age that he fought him. Loma was at his very peak. He was at his peak, he was older, he was right there.
Avoidance strategy depending entirely on who you ask. And right now, a lot of people are asking very loudly. Meanwhile, Keyshawn Davis is over here radiating a level of confidence that borders on supernatural. The man is talking about dominating opponents from 140 all the way up to 147 pounds. That's multiple weight classes for context. And doing so with the casual energy of someone who just woke up and decided to conquer the sport before breakfast. Keyshawn has the physical tools, the hunger, the pedigree from his Olympic background, and the kind of raw, explosive power that makes matchmakers nervous and fans extremely excited. But the analysts are pumping the brakes, and they're doing it for good reason. Dawood Bey and the legendary Roy Jones Jr. have both flagged the very real, very unforgiving challenge of moving up in weight in boxing. It sounds simple. It is not simple. Every pound you add at the elite level brings new power coming back at you, new physical demands on your body, new defensive puzzles to solve. And when the man across the ring from you is Devin Haney, a fighter with championship experience, elite defensive reflexes honed over hundreds of rounds, and the kind of ring IQ that only comes from being tested at the highest level repeatedly, the learning curve becomes genuinely dangerous. Keyshawn's confidence is electric, and it's part of what makes him must-watch television. But confidence alone has never stopped a perfectly timed Haney jab from finding a home on your forehead. And underneath all of it, the leaked tapes, the denials, the money talk, the matchmaking conspiracies, there's a conversation that doesn't get nearly enough oxygen in mainstream boxing media. The push to see top young Black American fighters compete against each other is not just about entertainment. It's about legacy. It's about what this generation of fighters will mean to the sport 20 years from now when people look back and ask who was the best. Haney, Stevenson, and Davis represent arguably the most talented cluster of American fighters in the same generational window that the sport has produced in a very long time. And the tragedy would be if politics, money, egos, and carefully managed careers kept us from ever seeing the definitive matchups that would tell us once and for all who truly reigns supreme. These fights need to happen, not eventually, now. While these fighters are in their primes, while the rivalries are this hot, while the story is writing itself in real time through leaked footage and social media wars and public sparring challenges, the sport deserves it. The fans deserve it. And frankly, history deserves it. Someone in a position of power needs to make these fights happen before the moment passes, and we're left debating what could have been over highlight reels and what-ifs. The triangle is drawn, the tensions are at an all-time high. Now somebody just needs to sign the contracts.